place to promote the growth of Tigres in English through analysis, discussions, interviews, and more. Welcome to the lautimes podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Another Sunday night episode for you guys tonight. As we have begun the month of May, this is the lautimes podcast, a show where we talk about Tigres in the English language. And tonight we've got a very fun episode as we're doing our recaps and our previews like we usually do, but also we're doing a little bit of a watch-along here as Tigres Femenil are playing their second leg of their quarterfinal matchup versus Toluca. So we will talk about the game as it's going on. As we get started tonight, I'm Dennis, the host and producer. Tonight, joined by two very special gents. One of them, a regular on the show. You know him, you love him as the man, our coach down in Austin. You know him as Tigres_English. It's Luis. How are you?
What's up, Dennis? I'm a little nervous and stressed out watching this Femenil game right now.
I am too. It's not a fun time. I'm not gonna lie to you. But hopefully we can spark a comeback. We know that the players at least will do their very best to try and make something happen. But we will see.
I was saving all my nervousness for Tuesday night, but I guess we're just going to make Sunday night a nervous day, too.
I guess so. Speaking of Tuesday is the next leg of the series versus Nashville. And who better to have back on the show? I think, Luis, if I remember correctly, this is probably the first time we've had a repeat MLS guest on the show. I can't think of anybody else that we've had on twice. So we're very happy to be joined once again by our friend in Nashville, Tyler from BigTVNSC, who I got to spend some time with in person at the first leg on Tuesday in Nashville. How are you?
I'm good, and I feel pretty honored now you've invited me back twice. So
yeah,
I feel pretty honored taking that crown. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. It's always nice. Like we told you last time you were here, it's always nice collaborating and meeting people in the MLS space. And yeah, I think you should get a trophy for being the first ever repeat guest. Maybe we'll send you something.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
In the near future.
I'll do a little speech for a while if that's okay. Just give me 10 minutes.
I love it. The girls' game has gone to halftime now, so actually this is kind of a great timing. Perfect timing, exactly. So we'll get to that in a second, but while Tyler's here, we're gonna go ahead and get going with continuing to recap the first leg from Tuesday, and then obviously looking ahead to this Tuesday, the second leg. Before I get anywhere, there's a lot of you already watching, which is great. Almost 30 people in the stream right now. Come hang out with us. Come drop your comments in the chat. We need chat to go crazy tonight. If you haven't already, subscribe, follow, share this link with somebody. I'm about to repost the stream out to all of our people. If you're watching and you're a Nashville fan, let us know in the comments. Share with other Nashville people as well. And if you're listening back on podcast later, don't forget to follow and subscribe to the show if you haven't done so by now. We already talked a little bit on Thursday about what happened this past Tuesday. But now that Tyler's here, we kind of get to hear the Nashville, the true Nashville perspective. So you've already done plenty of talking about this on your channel, on YouTube. I saw your video that you did with your wife the other day. I thought that was great, by the way. Shout out your wife.
No, thank you.
I thought that was awesome. Like the match ratings that y'all did, and just all the discussion y'all had after the game. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, as you've kind of processed Tuesday, and I know you guys had a game last night against Philly, a draw. Just tell me, I guess, kind of recap the week for you guys, and just kind of how you're feeling, before we talk about this second leg.
Yeah, I mean, I think disappointment was overall the feeling. I think some of the hardcore fans that you'll see on X and things, I had some conversations. There was a lot of conversations going on Tuesday night with a lot of people that I had, but I think the overall sense was a little bit of disappointment, not only in what happened on the pitch, but also what happened off the pitch in terms of the energy, the vibe, the support. It just felt really flat. And I think there was sort of some criticism definitely levied at kind of the fans and the atmosphere, and that wasn't really the Giannis part that we've come to know in big ties. The Club America game was probably triple the number of people there as it was, for the semi-final, which is crazy. And then again into Miami, we packed the place out, like absolutely packed the place out, like massive atmosphere. And I know there was a storm warning. I know that the game was delayed, but it had that sort of soggy feeling of just we're all wet and we're cold and we don't want to be here. But we're not cold because it's pretty warm. So it was just, yeah, I think there was just a general disappointment among the fans, or definitely among sort of hardcore fans right now. And it definitely felt like this was a club that's 6 years in MLS or whatever, young in MLS terms anyway, and not really like we had that support that you guys have built over, what was it, 1960, since you came into fruition. So there was definitely a sense of that. In terms of the actual game, I think you guys just dominated us tactically. I don't know why no one in MLS thinks Hani Mukhtar, he's a good player, let's just stick a man on him all day and just frustrate everything out of him. I don't know why no one in MLS has done that. Again, I've kind of covered this a little bit on my post-match stuff. And I think, honestly, you guys just dominated us tactically. You bunged up your left-hand side, our right-hand side, where we're going to attack. And for some reason, we couldn't seem to spread the ball out and just think, hang on, let's not just go down this right channel with Nahar, Espinoza, Mukhtar trying to combine. We had our best opportunities on the left. Reed Baker-Whiting's crosses were probably the best opportunities we had most of the game. That goal that was then given offside is a Reed Baker-Whiting moment where Muir just doesn't give him the ball early enough. I think that was the thing for me that completely took the energy out of the stadium, almost like we only had enough for it's going well. Like, as long as it's going well, we'll be fine. Bit of fair weather, ironically, on a storm night. And after that, that was it. It sort of, thank you. After that, it just disappeared. And that was it. That was really the game. I don't think it's too bad. I don't think we're miles off. I don't think there was miles between the teams. I mean, Wheel comes back, makes a mess of a challenge. Correa gets a moment and smashes it into the goal. Other than that, I didn't feel like either team particularly dominated the other. I felt like it was kind of even. I think Nashville just felt probably more frustrated because they knew that they shouldn't be in the situation they were in. And I think that's probably the only thing. I think it's more of a psychological thought that Nashville should have been doing better rather than Nashville didn't play badly, but you guys just got the tactics so right.
Tyler, in terms of like energy and intensity, I feel like the first 15 minutes you guys came out pretty fired up, but it seemed like you took the foot off the pedal. Did you notice the same thing with the energy? Were the guys not up to it that night, or
it was the stadium?
What was going on in terms of that?
I honestly think the stadium took it out of them. I don't think it was necessarily them losing the intensity. I think they just felt like everyone had dropped off from being behind them. Genuinely, like it was that one moment where it's given offside. I mean, as soon as it goes in, I'm saying that pass it's offside to me, and I turn straight to the linesman. I'm looking down, and I point to everyone around me that it's offside. Everyone's around me support it, like cheering after the goal. I'm saying no, it's offside, and Rachel and I going, it's offside, and the people behind us go, oh, it's offside, and suddenly it seeps around the stadium. And after that, everyone just felt like they didn't have the energy to come back for it. But I mean, what I have learned this week, going back to your initial sort of statement, Dennis, this week I've learned that Nashville really don't care about MLS in terms of supporters shield, and that they only really care about getting to a cup as fast as possible. Because the team we played last night was no DPs whatsoever. They come on in the last 60 minutes. I think it was almost like it was scheduled 60 minutes. They come on and try and just do something. But Nashville are going for this. How that's going to come out, I'm not sure. What that looks like, I'm not sure. I don't know whether we've been in this situation where we've really got to actually go and make the goals happen rather than just, everywhere, all the way through this competition, we've just had a 0-0 and then gone for that little cheeky goal in the second leg. And whether we're going to be able to cope with the mentality of keeping it controlled because you guys are really good at winding our guys up. But I was watching your Chivas game last night, and there was plenty of that going on between both sides. Anyway, I think it's Liga MX thing, and I don't know if our guys can handle that frustration, particularly Mukhtar.
I think to that point, I think one of the interesting things about this series now is just kind of where the teams are. Like, I think you just laid that out really perfectly, Tyler. Like, you guys are in the beginning of the season where everything matters regarding this cup, right? As it should. I mean, MLS is still in the first half of the year. You've got a whole sprint to the season after the World Cup, about to have like a 2-month break, right? Contrasting that with us, like as you just mentioned, playing a game against Chivas last night. Not just any game; it's a playoff game. It's a quarterfinal first leg at home. Games against Chivas when we play them are always crazy, even more so in a knockout scenario. So it's just kind of that battle of, okay, like Nashville obviously really wants this, but Tigres is already naturally fired up because it's the end of the season for us. Between this and Liguilla, like there's a little bit more of an edge on the Tigres side. Like how do those sort of contrasting, like, I don't know how to best describe it other than like personality types, like within the teams. Like how do those two things clash on Tuesday, knowing that, you know, one goal for Nashville changes everything, right? Like,
yeah,
a couple goals for us puts a lot of pressure on y'all. Like, how does the first 15-20 minutes of this game on Tuesday like shape out? Like, how open are y'all going to be? What strategy are we going to implement after honestly expending a lot of energy last night? Like, last night was in some ways an emotional game
for sure
because of the way the referee was, some calls that didn't go our way, but obviously the second half that we had and how we just kind of scored in bunches at the beginning. There's so much to wonder about with how everybody's going to line up. We played a strong team last night versus, like you said, you guys playing a very rotated squad. It's interesting, man. It's interesting to see kind of where our clubs are at going into this second leg, and off the back of a game on Tuesday that, like you mentioned, was a lot of like feeling each other out in some ways, like kind of seeing like, okay, this team does this tactically, like,
yeah,
how does this team adjust to this? How does the other team adjust to that? It's really interesting. I know that I was looking at Twitter earlier today. I don't know how much you know Ben, right? We've been kind of following him on Twitter over the last couple weeks. I know he had posted something about how Surge is, from my understanding, definitely out for Tuesday, and as is Eddie. Is that are both of those confirmed?
That's as far as I know. Yeah, I mean Eddie's definitely out. I think it was a muscle. It was definitely some sort of, I don't know to the extent of the tear or whatever but it was 15 minutes into the game against you guys. And I think that also took the energy out of us.
I was going to say that too, because he's like, him and obviously Yazbek, I think is still a tremendous player, but Yazbek and Eddie together is very good. It's one of the best midfield pairings in MLS, I feel. And you could just tell like the drop off, like once y'all had to bring that sub on, it was honestly pretty stark. And it stinks because you want the best players out there, and Eddie brings a lot of energy to y'all's team. So
I think that's the thing. They're two different players. I think Corcoran's actually possibly, I think he might be regarded by the coaching staff as the better player at this point than Eddie. Eddie, I think, is very watchable, but he's not quality in every moment of his game. Corcoran is quality in every moment of his game, but not particularly watchable. And so you have to be a real fan of football to know, oh, I see what he's doing here. Eddie's that kind of runs around, makes challenges, gets in the face of the opposition, which I think might have, helped against you guys to some extent from the energy, because you guys have a lot of energy, and I think it's more energy than we faced for, most of the season so far in terms of opposition. But Corcoran is quality on the ball, really clean with his passing. He doesn't really get anything wrong. But honestly, that game, every pass we made, the long passes fell short and the short passes went long. Everything was just a little bit off in terms of the way we played it. And we ran out of ideas. We didn't have any ideas. Our right-hand side and our DPs rely on so much because they're so good. that it feels like you can get away and get through no matter what happens. And Espinosa still managed to get opportunities and things where the ball bounces off one of your guys and you think, how has he still ended up getting to the byline with this? But also every single cross we played, I think we played 16 crosses into the box and didn't get on the end of a single one. And then we continued to do that against Philadelphia, put them all on the back of the 6-yard box, and never was there a player there to do anything about them. So I think that Eddie's also a fan favorite. That took a lot of energy out of the stadium. He's not my favorite, but he is a fan favorite, and he's just one of those guys that everyone in the stadium loves him because they see what he does and they can see the energy. But those are a number of factors that went into it. I think in terms of how, when you were saying about the contrasting styles, perhaps, and what's going to happen in the first 15 minutes, I think Nashville are going to sit in the first 15 minutes. Just frustrate you guys. I think that's generally been our tactic throughout the Champions Cup so far in the first few minutes of an away tie. It's just to sit there, be frustrating, be hard to break down, and start to get some control of the ball. And I think that's genuinely probably what we're going to do in that first 15 minutes. And yeah, you guys have come off 2 pretty emotionally charged games. I do think it was a foul for that first goal yesterday that Chivas got.
Thank you.
But I have no idea how they didn't give that. But that was then a lot of, frantic energy going on, a lot kind of taking out the players emotionally, and a lot more going on than just playing the game. And I think that's beneficial for us. Genuinely, in terms of players that we'll see that started yesterday, Shwaki in goal, Walezi at centre back. We'll see Yazbek again, and then maybe Madrigal, maybe Kasim. That's it from the guys that started yesterday. So that's at least more than half the team that will start that will be fresh.
And I assume it'll be pretty similar to what we saw this past Tuesday, right? Like, Mukhtar will start from the get-go. Espinosa obviously off the right. Do you think Baker Whiting is the left back again in this game?
Yeah.
Just kind of how do you see your lineup shaking up? And then Lou, how do you think our guys shake up tomorrow, knowing that we played a pretty strong side yesterday? But Tyler, you go first.
Yeah, it'll be Shwaki, Andy Nahar, Jason Palacios will come back into the team. Waleji will play at left centre back, Baker Whiting left back. We're going to have Corcoran and Yazbek probably in there. That says quite a lot about how Corcoran's regarded. Acosta's been, a mainstay in this team for years. He's been around, and 19-year-old, 20-year-old Matthew Corcoran is considered, the better player than Acosta at age 33 or whatever he's at. So it does say a lot about how he's regarded, and he does have quality on the ball. He's perfect for that control element of the game. Very much quarterback, very much Jorginho type player. That sort of prototype 6 thing, that many managers looked at a few years ago and said, we want to play like that. And then I reckon we're probably playing Kasim on the left, Mukhtar up the middle. Espinosa will probably play on the right by default, but I think we need to keep from going down that avenue again and maybe come a little bit more narrow for once, and I think congest your midfield a little bit more, especially with the kind of man marking thing going on. If you're going to do it again, I think we know that's coming now. And then that probably just leaves Alex Muir as the final player in there, floating between that kind of 10 and out to the left wing. But yeah, we had a team. I think we're going to try and rotate more to what we did at the start of the season, which was a lot more fluid in the attack. I hope so anyway. There were points in the first couple of games in the New England Revolution where Espinosa appeared on the left-hand side, Sam Surridge is playing on the right wing, Mukhtar's playing up top, and Madrigal ends up as a left striker getting 2 goals, or a goal and assist, whatever it was. But good performances early on. And I think we need a bit more of that against you guys just to mix it up. We've gone a bit stale. We've gone a bit more, let's control the game. I don't think we need to do that tomorrow. I think we just need to be all out and just a little bit crazy.
Yeah, as far as our lineup, Dennis, I don't think would change too much. I could see us dropping Vigon and adding Chuy Garza on the right fullback spot where he belongs. And that frees up Gorreran to play in the pivot again with Araujo. I think having watched the game yesterday, Tyler, do you think Nashville's coach says, hey, these guys are a little bit unhinged, a little bit lack a little bit of emotional control? Do you think he plays some tactics there, talks to the boys and tells them, hey, get under their skin a little bit?
I think he does. I think Eddie would have been the perfect man to do that.
I was going to say, yeah.
I think he loves it. He even in the pre-Charlotte game, so the home tie, he had an interview with, it might have been Valère or Ben Wright again, at the training ground, and he was saying about, it'd be good to see my old friend Wilf Zaha again, and just a little cheeky dig at him and getting under. He, of course, wasn't in the game at all, so he didn't get to see him, sadly, and then got injured the next game, so maybe that was bad luck for him. But yeah, I think he's the kind of guy that could get into that. I don't know how much emotional control we have, to be honest with you, by the time we've done that. And I don't know if we've got that nastiness yet as a team that you need to be kind of super competitive and really win things. We don't have that sort of mafia element of sort of like an Inter Miami used to have, it's like, hey, we're the guys from Barcelona, that team, we're those guys. We don't really have that. We've got sort of Yazbek, I think, is very hardworking, but maybe doesn't have that kind of confidence or attitude yet. I think you could see it a little bit from maybe Waleji, but he's playing on the edge, and you don't want your centre back redoing that too much. And I think Mukhtar was close to losing it. I think in the first game, he looked really frustrated. I think that was something I was disappointed by. The fact he was every 2 seconds going over to BJ asking, "What should I do about this?" Almost like he's never been man marked in his career. But to be fair, he probably hasn't been that much somehow. And yeah, I think we could get under your skin a little bit. I'm worried about without Sam Surridge. I think Sam Surridge is firepower that we need off the bench, and I think it does have an effect on the whole team when he's not available at all. And Pasillas hasn't really delivered yet at MLS level opposition or above, and that's a difficult position to be in because we basically only have Mukhtar. I want to see Mukhtar run in behind a little bit more and not trying to drop so deep. Maybe that means Madrigal comes in and plays in more of the 10, to be fair, because he's not really been having much success out on the left wing, but he can play all across the front four from the 10, left, right, and centre, in terms of striker as well. So it might be that those two interchange a little bit more, and Mukhtar tries and pushes. It was that Araujo was marking him all game, right? And we try and push him, sit you more into, basically make you sit in a back five because we're trying to push him behind you.
I wonder, one of the things that I'm looking out for too is how y'all respond to the atmosphere of our crowd. Obviously, you guys just had a great experience at the Azteca. Big stadium, like physically very big. But the crowd was not very big for that game, right? Like, they did not fill up the stadium. I would be stunned if we don't have a full crowd on Tuesday night in Monterrey. Like, El Volcán should be packed to the brim. It's possibly the last home game of this CONCACAF campaign for us, unless somehow Toluca and LAFC end up in a draw and we end up making up the goal difference. Like, this is probably it. When we probably will not host the final. So that is something I'm really curious about, because obviously the Azteca is its own thing, but with a full crowd, that's going to feel like a Libertadores match, like a South American match. A real genuine atmosphere. Like, how do y'all respond to that? Because it's going to be different than what y'all experienced in Mexico City even a couple weeks ago. So
I since the Open Cup, I've sort of got this faith in Nashville that they can, unlike many teams in world football, they can get an away win, and they're not too phased by whoever's in the stands. Got that. I mean, it's away goals win, but away goals win, whatever, it counts. Against Inter Miami in the final game at the Chase Stadium, of course the Azteca, and then down in Austin when we win the Open, the US Open Cup, it have to go down to a completely buoyant, partying home fans. But I have faith in these guys. They seem to have been able to do it away from home, and I think I get it. The away fans can be intimidating, but if you want to be a best team, a great team, it's not really something that you consider, is it? You just block that out, and the very best players with the most elite mentality.
Right.
Arsenal won the league at Tottenham before. Those things happen. You go away from home and you get results because, PSG, I'm sure when they go to Bayern on Wednesday, are going to be looking to do exactly that same thing. And those are teams that are at the elite level. It doesn't really matter what the away fans are doing when you want to be elite. And so I think BJ will be drilling that into these guys, because I think he has expectations that are far beyond what the average MLS team would be expecting.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
BJ said yesterday, I think in one of the press conferences, that that Surridge is day to day, and he doesn't expect him back in a day or two. So I didn't know how to interpret that. Does that mean there's like 0% chance he plays, or do you see him bringing him along on the trip, and then if there's a moment where he feels desperate, he plugs him in?
It might be a bit of Arteta style coaching there of, yeah, he's not available. Oh, he is available. Look at that. Which could be part of it. I think he's a bit more of a straight shooter than that generally. So I'm not sure whether that's going to be the case. I imagine if this is really significant, it's a back injury, I think, is the issue. And it's sort of, do you want to sit on a plane and all that stuff? Is that what he needs for his recovery? I genuinely do think it is probably a day-to-day thing, because we know what back injuries are like. One day you can wake up and feel absolutely fine. The next day you can't move. So we'll see. It comes off the back of a hamstring injury as well. So is there some interplay there between lower back, hamstring? The sort of is it all sort of a, not an isolated incident? We'll see. I mean, I'd be delighted to see him on the bench, but I think this team in previous weeks has proved that they can do it without Sam. And controversially, I think we've actually played better without Sam Surridge at many points so far in the last couple of weeks. But it is a psychological advantage to have him there, and he can get a goal with just a little sniff.
Right.
Well, I was just thinking, because you mentioned 16 crosses, but I think it might have been even more.
It may be, yeah.
and if there would have been somebody at the other end of those crosses, it would have been him. So
Yeah.
It could be that he's been a decisive player in this situation because of him not being plugged in.
I think the difficulty is that because of the fixture congestion, I don't even think we're going to have time to rectify these issues, really. We haven't got training ground time, basically. They'll have probably been in today because they had to be, in terms of getting ready, because it's only one day to go. So they'll be in for a day for light recovery and, for some physio stuff, maybe talk a little bit of tactics or something. We'll get maybe a morning tomorrow before they then have to fly out in the afternoon.
Oh, so they didn't fly out today.
I mean, I'm not sure, but I think it's unlikely with the Philly game last night coming back. I think we're probably going to fly out tomorrow. So I mean, I'll go and see if Brian's there before you go and knock on his door for you. And I'll let you know. Hi, Mr. Strachey. It's Brian in. I think that's the issue. And I think we almost need to restructure how our attack is working right now, because we never have anyone on that left side available.
Sure.
And we can't really rectify that with no training time. So it's going to have to be all verbal. It's going to have to be, hey, Warren, take 5 steps back when you're running into the box and go for the back post. Don't quite aim for the middle of the box all the time. And that's about as far as you're going to get. There's going to be no time to really practice this. It's basically, hey, try this instead. And I like I say, I would like to see us a bit more congested, a little bit more narrow this time, perhaps, because you guys did an incredible job of us out wide, even though you were playing, players that you weren't expecting to out there. You did a great job of us on that. But of course, with Araujo marking Mukhtar, that leaves space in that midfield to, overload you. And I think that needs to be our game plan, is to get in and around that.
And hold on, before I mention anything, a development in the women's game. Oh no, goal.
Ceci Santiago wasn't going to stop that, right?
She's not saving that.
Yeah, she's never saved
Yeah.
a PK.
It's 4-1 Toluca. Women
And on aggregate, we're toast.
Yeah,
we're toast.
We're toast. There goes our title defense. We'll get to that a little bit
next.
later. Yeah,
we'll talk about fire. We'll talk about firing the coach later, Dennis.
Yeah. That's the next topic of discussion. Oh man, man, I wish you were going, Tyler. I wish you were making the trip down on Tuesday. So
me too.
Experience.
Me too.
I hope that there's some level of a traveling contingent going. But we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, after that, I'm not going to say too much, but Geodis Park wasn't full, so
yeah,
I think
What do you blame it on, Tyler? Do you think, had it been a bigger Mexican team, a better known Mexican team, you think the fans would have gotten behind it? Like, let's say Chivas, for example, if you were facing Chivas, it's like very popular. You think the fans would have gotten more behind it, or is it the competition that perhaps they don't care as much about this competition than they do the local league?
Yeah, I think there's a misunderstanding about the competition. I feel like it's not yet at the level where people are super hardcore and dedicated to it yet. I mean, the Tigres fans turned out. I mean, there were corners where we could hear you and not our fans, which I was just gutted about. So disappointed about that as an away contingent. And that wasn't even the guys that were up in the away section that we put on for you guys. It was, just in the middle of our fans. And that was so disappointing to me. The storm warning didn't help. There's a lot of people that drive from out of town. They have to park. They have to do all that stuff. Of course, we then had an hour rain delay as well. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But it's not what you would see if that was I'm British. You know where I come from. You know what it's like where I live. Not where I live, but where I was born and what I've grown up with for the last 29 years until now was people, you go rain or shine, no matter what's happening, you're going to be there. And to see a lack of desire from the fans, a lack of commitment, I think commitment is the word. It does, it's hard to put together. And I think maybe you end up in a bubble when you do the social media thing, when you do the Twitter thing. You end up with a few people that you think will think like you and are fans like that. And you've got to remember that actually this club's young. It doesn't have the history behind it. It doesn't have the prestige of your team. It doesn't have the prestige of like Club America. And it doesn't have the marketing budget of Inter Miami either. So, I think there was probably an underselling of this game by the club as well. And I think that should be taken responsibility for partially because I don't think they pushed it enough that it's important. And I also just don't know if American fans yet understand cup games, which is another discussion I've had with people. Because obviously I come from living and breathing this sport in a nation where when you're not talking about what you have to be doing, you're talking about football. And that's not the same here.
I thought it was interesting. Hold on, Lou, real quick. I thought it was interesting that it never got to a point where it was going to sell out. Like I was looking at tickets like in the lead up the whole time, and I think the team had to drop the price like the day before because tickets weren't selling.
Yeah, I bet.
And you spoke to probably why that was, but I thought that was a little disappointing for like such a big game, for one of the biggest home games that y'all had, that it never got to the point where it's like, oh, this thing might sell out and we might have 30,000 people here. It never really got close to that.
No, man, it's just it's a different culture, and it's even Pochettino was talking about this on the Overlap. I don't know if you guys ever catch that on YouTube.
Yep.
Sports thing originally. It's like a bit of home when I watch that. It just feels so British that. But he's talking about football is not an entertainment sport. It's a competitive sport. And he's trying to instill that in the kind of US national team and fans and so on. But the culture here is very different to that. Everything's about entertainment. And I don't think many people find coming to a stadium that they, have to pay $40 to park in, walk through the rain, maybe have a rain delay, all the storms, the thunder. They don't find that particularly entertaining because it's not entertaining. But this sport isn't really about being entertained. It's about a commitment to a tribe. It's a tribal sport, really. It's about your tribe. And that tribalism is what fuels it in other nations across Europe, across South America, across, Britain, obviously. And I think that's something that's not really been picked up on yet here, in a way. There are certain fans that have that tribalism and that tribal element, but not for the majority. And it becomes part of your identity is the thing. And I don't think there are as many fans that you'll find that say, being a Nashville SC fan is part of my identity. That's who I am. That's what I do. And I think that's a big part of it. But, I've had so many comments about this even in the very earliest cup games. I was saying, hey, why is no one coming to these on my socials? And people saying, oh, well, it's a bit late and the kids have got school, so that's a bit annoying. And sometimes it rains, don't like that. And Tuesday night, oh, I've got to go to work the next day, so do I really want to be there? And that doesn't sound like that's not people who have it as their identity. That's people who want to be entertained and do something they enjoy. So it's just where the sport is right now, and it's just a different approach, which I'm of course trying to learn and trying to adapt to in terms of social
Sure.
content and what do you deliver that entertains, or am I just there for the hardcore tribalists that do exist maybe? So it's something that I grapple with mentally as well and
Yeah.
consider often.
Yeah.
You mentioned something interesting earlier, Tyler, about being nasty. And I think I listen to a lot of podcasts from MLS, and a lot of them say, "Oh man, Liga MX teams, they play dirty, or they're utilizing the dark arts," and a lot of that we picked up from our competitions in Copa Libertadores going against South American teams. It was like a habit we acquired, a bad habit we acquired from them. And that culture shifted. We were different. We were kind of naive and inexperienced, and then we go to South America, to Brazil and Argentina, and we were kind of shocked by the way they played. Do you think there'll be a little bit of influence from MLS? I mean, from Liga MX influencing MLS on that end, on that aspect?
It's interesting because you do see that built into the DNA of South American players, I think, across the globe. I think it sometimes gets knocked out of them a little bit, depending on what the coach's requirements are and how much can you really get away with when you're at the very, very top level. But you do see it all the time with things that maybe spark over the edge, and it's a different kind of nastiness, isn't it? It's a different kind of. I think you guys are incredibly good at frustrating and slowing the play. That was the thing that really, I think, ruined us on Tuesday, was that the slowing of play, the rolling around every time a little foul happens just to waste more time. Classic dark arts material. I mean, Arsenal have been doing it all year in the league, in Premier League. Everyone does it at the top level when they need to. I don't know if we're smart enough to pick it up. I don't know if we do have a bit of dark arts in us. Brian Schwacke is probably my dark arts master for Nashville SC.
He's
I
got
mean,
that face about him that kind of gives it off a little bit.
he's the nicest guy, but he's also playing the game as it needs to be played to get the win. So he will run to the absolute furthest corner of the box and then pick the ball up. To the extent I've seen him sprint away with the ball, back pass, ball comes through from the opposition, he'll sprint away with it in the last minute to get to the furthest point of the box, pick it up, and then run back all the way that he just sprinted to, just to waste some time. So I like that about him, but whether you'll see us genuinely reach the level that I watched in your game last night of that kind of rolling around for every moment, every little foul, make a point to the referee, I don't know. And these CONCACAF referees, I feel like a different breed. I just don't feel like it's the same as either of our leagues. And I don't know how I genuinely don't feel like they're playing with the FIFA rulebook half the time, which blows my mind. Like, are we actually on FIFA what rules here? Is this what's going on? Because the added time never seems to be anything like any other league on earth.
Yeah, the second half on Tuesday, I don't get why it was 5 minutes. It should have been like 8, to be honest with you.
I was asking, and no one came back to me with the stat, but I did ask on Twitter, does anyone have the number for how long the ball was actually in play for that game? Because I genuinely think it would be sub 60 minutes if you looked. It wasn't uncommon last season in the Premier League to see games that were sub 60 minutes at times. And that felt like one of those, where everyone's taking ages on the throw-ins, ages on the corners, ages on the free kicks. And there was, how many fouls were given that game? Unbelievable.
Absolutely. I agree. Let's get you out of here with some predictions. As the Nashville fan, we know basically what you will say, but give us your
What do you think I'll say?
that you guys will somehow
Speak
get
for
it.
yourself, Dennis. I don't know what he's gonna say.
Hey, I would assume there would be some bias involved, and I assume that you'll say that you guys will come back, but maybe you'll surprise me. I don't know. Yeah, well, give us your prediction, and then Lou and I will give ours.
Oh man, there's a bit of me that's, what does the optimist say, and what's the thing that I think Nashville fans want me to say, and there's a bit of me that's my football analyst brain that says, what's the right result going to be? And I'm probably going to go with what I think the right thing what the result will be. I think we do get a goal, but I think we probably lose 2-1.
Okay. Lou?
I still think it needs to be a low scoring game. Like I keep thinking that we didn't get the best Nashville on the first go round, and we are going to get the best Nashville this time around. But the only way we come out with a good result is if we play better than we did the first game, which is going to be tough to do because they're going to be better. So we've had so many roller coaster moments with the squad that it's so hard to pick. But being at home, I think the fans are going to push us. But I think it's going to be another Tigres type of ending, like always. I think we're going to struggle and then find a way to advance. So that doesn't mean that we'll win. So I'm gonna go optimistic here. I'm gonna go with a 1-1. But I think it's gonna be a they go up first type of 1-1, and
Yeah.
we scored towards the end
Yeah.
because it's just it's the DNA of this club to suffer and make the fans frustrated. So I think that's how it's gonna end. Go down.
Oh, please score that. Golly. Jeez. Yeah, I was good. I'm very boring because this is the same scoreline I predicted last week, but I'm 100% with you, Lou. 1-1 is what I'm thinking. I do think we'll score first, actually, but Mari Carmen Reyes about to make her long-awaited return. I do think that we'll give up a goal like late first or early second, and as Lou just alluded to, si no es Tigres, no sufrir, or whatever I usually say. It's going to be a lot of suffering and a lot of just like stress, just hoping that we find a way. So,
Yeah.
I'm optimistic though because our record in Conca at home is very good, especially against MLS sides.
Yeah.
I mean, our one blunder was when we played Columbus a couple of years ago, and that was only really because of a penalty shootout.
Mm.
So I think the boys will turn up. I think if I remember correctly, Lou, we scored at least twice in every home game in CONCACAF play so far this season at home because we scored
At
I think
home.
what like 3 or 4 against Forge. We scored obviously 5 against Cincinnati and twice against Seattle.
Yeah.
So the numbers and the stats on that regard are in our favor. So I am optimistic in that regard, but I don't know. I feel like both teams are solid and well structured enough, and I just don't expect it to be a goal fest. I don't, but
I think it could be close. I do think the teams are fairly well balanced. I think you guys just have a little nastiness about you that is the kind of hallmark of teams that can win and get things over the line. I don't think we've got that nastiness about us, but we have one thing. So my optimistic result was that we maybe get a 1-0 and we then take it to penalties and extra time
Woo!
penalties.
Which
Oh
that's what
Lord.
Columbus did.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how Columbus got us. So
Because we are pretty tight at the back. I mean, in terms of you guys, your opportunities in that game, I feel like the biggest thing was just that little moment from Wheel coming back and that tackle not going quite right. But yeah, maybe I'm just having a bit of a downer on us at the minute. It's been a couple of games. Our expected goals against is slowly going up, which I'm a little bit worried about. And it just feels like we had this thing at the start of the season that's slowly petering out a little bit.
I honestly thought that even though y'all rotated last night, that y'all would get at least a good result against Philly.
Yeah.
Because Philly's had such a bad season.
Yeah, they looked all right because
Yeah.
of what we did.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, that's fair. Any last words from you before we let you go?
Hey, Nashville can show up. I want to see this Nashville team show up. I believe they can show up. But you guys are a good opposition. You're a tough opposition to face, and you have a lot going for you. And I think what I saw was a tactical masterclass that I
Yeah.
hadn't seen against anyone play against us. And that's the thing. The fact that you guys could adapt quite fast to that and make that happen is what makes me a little hesitant. I just don't know if we've got enough have had enough time even to sit with a tactics board and say, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this, do that, without any training time on the field. It's really hard to dramatically change how this team looks.
Sure.
I don't know if we have a plan B.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know though. I see you're asking us some questions here. Please refer to the earlier part of the episode for some of the answers.
You're late.
Ante tarde, CPT. Anyways, well, dude, thank you so much again for joining us, and like I said, being our first multi
Plug in your
multi-time-
socials, Tyler,
Yeah.
for everybody that
Please.
didn't get to listen
Yeah.
to you the first time around.
Yeah, at BigTVNSC on all the platforms, at BigTVUS on Twitter specifically. But yeah, thank you for having me on twice. Hopefully it was worth it. Hopefully I did enough to deserve a future call up as well. That'd be great. I want to be sort of leading the number of call ups on lautimes. That'd be great. We'll just have to keep playing you.
I love it. I love it. Oh, one last question from Arnoldo. When he thinks Liga MX, who does he think of? I guess player wise
Or team wise.
or team wise.
Team wise, Chivas, America, Cruz Azul, Monterrey. You guys, I know. Do you know how many people were in the stream last night saying, "Oh, Monterrey fan, like, just please beat Tigres."
That
There
tracks.
was so many.
Yeah.
There were people saying it in the chat. I said, "Oh, you're from Monterrey, aren't you?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
So many people. I picked up 50 plus followers on the stream last night. Rachel and I did on TikTok, but each one I spotted. Every time someone said, "Oh, please beat Tigres," I went, "You're from Monterrey, aren't you?" And you're on the other half of Monterrey.
Yeah. Yeah, all those cats being trolls while they desperately try to find something to cheer about because their own team can't give it to them themselves. So
yeah, but I mean, I will say I've had a soft spot for the international team on FIFA forever. Just since I was a kid, I always played as the Mexican international team. Whenever someone said, "Oh, I'll play international," I was like, "Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's do that."
Oh, sorry, he's bringing out all the questions. If you could pull one player from Nashville from Tigres, who would it be?
Yeah, I had that question the other day. Araujo.
Wow. Okay.
Just to have someone with that sort of very disciplined in what he did in the game, got a decent physical presence. We need more in midfield. We really are lacking in midfield. I mean, we have, once you go past Eddie, Yazbek, and Corcoran, we are bare bones. So we are completely underdone in our midfield.
To think that he was just out there as a free agent after his tenure with Orlando. One more because he's new to the team. I guess he wants you to say a veteran or a guy who's been here for a while. You can say Guignac. It's fine.
Does he want him to say Correa? Is that what he wants him to say?
I don't know. What
he's leading him. He's leading them towards Correa. I think that's what he's doing.
He was the one that I mean, I think Brunetta would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, when he's on, he's on.
Mm.
When he's cold.
I like Oziel as well.
Okay, yeah.
He could fix our left wing issue.
MLS merchant.
Yeah.
I honestly, we've talked about this here on the show quite a bit. I really think he would thrive in MLS.
Yeah, he'd be great. He'd be great.
Yeah.
Someone said to me yesterday, like, would Noni Madueke do well in MLS? I was like, yes, because he's just a dominant athletic player, can cut inside. And I don't know why they said that one specifically.
Yeah. Huh.
But I mean, there's a sort of inverted quality. I still can't get over that goal of Mazatlan that Oziel scored. That kind of like round the corner, finish into the bottom corner.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of finish. I mean, maybe that's sort of bias over a very small number of games that I've really been focusing on you guys. But
yeah, I
mean, anyone else on our left side would be great. Just to add a bit more dynamism. He's got a good physical. I like his physical profile. He's kind of like long but kind of slim, isn't he? He feels long. I don't know if he's actually that tall, but
sure.
Yeah, he just kind of looks good on the ball and kind of dance around a little bit, So yeah, I'd probably take him.
Okay, good answers. Great answers. Thank you, Arnoldo, for all those questions. Alrighty, my friend. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. I'm sure we'll chat in the
For
lead
sure.
up and on Tuesday. So
Yeah.
hope to have you again soon, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Best of luck for you too.
Alrighty. Thank you,
Have a
my
good one.
friend.
Enjoy your
Yes,
night.
sir. Thank you. That is Tyler from BigTVNSC. I have left his handles and stuff in the show notes, so please go check that out if you want to follow him on social and all that. Oh, wait. Crashing the party.
Look at this guy.
What up?
¿Qué onda, güey?
Bro, I'm like in a terrible mood right now, bro. This Tigres Femenil game has got me so ticked off, bro.
Bro, this is bad.
I'm watching it as well. We got some money on the line for it, and it looks like we're not gonna win.
Wendele, pues.
Oh,
Cook.
lo bueno que te sobra feria, bro. So, you know.
Honestly, bro, it's been my wife. She's been on a roll from the last few days. She's been betting on, I don't know, some random ass website, and she's been winning. So I've been supporting. I called the 3-1 lead yesterday, so she ended up winning. I called the tie against America earlier today, so we're winning so far. But I'm losing on this one. I feel like all my momentum has gone down with this game.
You gotta raise funds before the kid gets here.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. She was wondering. We were listening in, and she was like, "Who's this gentleman on the pod that has an accent?" And I was like, well, "We got a guest."
Yeah, our great British friend. Well, I guess we can talk about Femenil now, even though it's annoying. 15 minutes to go. If you're wondering where we're at with the game, score is 2-0. Toluca 4-1 on aggregate. Tigres would need 3 goals in the next 15 minutes in order to advance, since we are the higher seed. But that looks like a very tall task because we have not had a real clear-cut chance at goal for a minute. So
Well,
Dennis,
she saved that bicycle kick that
yeah,
Mayor took.
yeah. But other than that, I feel just not a lot of like clear
Nuh-uh.
chances. Just have a lot of half chances that haven't really spurned into anything. So
It feels like it's time to go back to the drawing board, restructure. Like we've gone away with a few, wins in the last playoff series, and I think it's time. You know what I mean? Like you have a few players that are kind of hanging in between, like momentum or not, or haven't really made the move to be the solidified starters. Then you have the coaching aspect, where I think that majority of all of us have pointed out that he's probably not the best candidate to lead our team. And even Mari Carmen coming back today, I don't know if this is her first game back. I could be wrong.
it is.
Yeah.
But wild to think that this is her first game back. Quarterfinals, you're down 3 goals to try to like get back in, and that's the first game you choose to play. I think the whole team just needs a full restructure. I think that there's just something that probably didn't go well over the last 10 games or so. I was talking with my uncle earlier, Natalia Colin, Luis. You kind of feel betrayed by the idea that she's on the bench due to a player that we brought in who's a national team player in Nascimento from Brazil. And I think Natalia Colin had probably better momentum leading up in the last season, going into the season. And, you paid some money for these players. So, you got to start them in some way. And so I feel like everything that's going on right now, obviously as a fan, it's not the best thing to happen, but it could be the best thing to happen to restructure moving forward.
Yeah, sometimes those wins kind of mask the underlying things that are going on in the club. By the way, Mari Carmen Reyes had been out 531 days, so it
Her
had
injury
been
was
a
so
long
bad.
time.
Such a long time. Oh, are
They're
we
checking a
getting?
possible handball here,
Yeah,
right?
are we getting a VAR review? Is that what's happening?
I don't know if we're gonna get it though. It seemed like it might have hit her stomach.
I think
before
it
her arm,
did.
right?
On one of the angles, it looks like it did. The crowd is riled up, though. I can already tell the nonsense that's being spewed in the crowd. Femenil games.
That's a bad angle right there. I think the other angle
The
is the
other
one
one,
that shows that it might have hit the
even
belly
still, I
first.
think it hits her stomach on that angle too. It's that. No, it's not this angle that they've got. It's the other one where it's like on the side that they need to show again. Because even then, like that doesn't help. Like it shows that it hits her arm, but
She's got a bad habit of having that arm extended, though. That's the second time she's done that this series.
bro, look at the zoom on that 244%. Honestly, even there, it looks like
All
it
pixelated.
at the 240p, bro.
240p, bro. Si
my,
acaso.
my boy Chiquis Cruz is going through it trying to figure this out.
No manches, way.
That's my favorite saying on all of the Estrella TV callings. Chiquis Cruz.
Oh man. Okay, here we go.
Somebody called him El Chiquis Garcia the other day. They were trolling him about it.
Penalty. You gotta get one goal in.
Let's see if we get some ayuditas.com right here, baby.
Please, bro. I would
You know
love
the
that so
theory
much.
is if they
Yeah,
go to the
penalty. There we
mic,
go.
if they go to
Okay.
the mic, if they open the mic, it's gonna be a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Priscilla called one goal just for the sad stuff going on.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be the only goal of the game for us.
Yeah. I don't see us scoring another 2.
Who shoots?
Diana.
Lady D? Yeah, Lady D.
Diana.
Gotta give it to Diana, bro.
Yeah.
But you know,
I mean, she
Pedro
should have shot
Lota
it the other night.
didn't adjust anything after that horrendous error from Ceci Santiago last game. Really, Itzel should have gotten the nod, bro, for this game.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
what
fact.
happens tonight? She makes another costly error.
I was
leading
gonna
to
ask.
the-
I was gonna ask Lou that first goal that they scored on that header. That's savable, right? Like that should have been
Dude,
stopped.
that's 2 mistakes in one
Okay, good.
play.
We're on the same page. Yeah,
Because for one, you don't
Los
clear it to the
Globos,
middle
bro.
of the pitch. You
Yeah.
have to clear it off to the side. And then the second mistake she made is that she didn't backtrack enough.
yeah.
She stopped and then tried to lean back to catch it. Whereas she keeps trekking back, she can get in front of it to clear it. So 2 mistakes in that same play that cost that goal.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right, here
Yeah.
we go. Diana.
What minute
Step
are
it
you
up.
on, Dennis?
I'm at 80, 27. Yes. Okay. One back.
Anything can happen. 10 minutes. Let's call it 15 minutes before the game ends.
Yeah.
15 minutes to score 2
Yeah,
goals.
they got to give us at least 5 of stoppage time.
At
I
least.
told Priscilla, can it happen? Absolutely. Will it happen? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it can happen.
It could. Here's a question for y'all. I for one have been very unhappy with the decision to not have Emma Watson start either of these games. Agree or disagree?
Well, she definitely should have started tonight, bro. You need the goals, and you go with Alexia Delgado, very defensive-minded mid. You got to go with Emma Watson there. You drop Delgado and you play Watson.
I would say yes, just due to like she's very talented. I feel like she was underplayed this whole entire season. And anything that gets Alexia Delgado off the team now, like I'm all game.
Bro's got her on the hate list.
Chopping block.
Yeah, for sure. We can improve that position.
Dude.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, watching Mari Carmen, I know that she's not gonna like come too much in the spotlight these last few minutes since she entered the game, but
Oh no.
man,
Oh my word. Oh, holy cow. How did they not score there?
I can't
word.
wait till she's fully healthy, man. She's so needed on the pitch. She's so good. I know she's been hurt for the last year or so, but probably a year and a half now. But she's so good. Like everything that she gave us, hopefully she comes back healthy and keeps going. All right, here we go. Watson.
Oh,
Emma.
oh, great run.
Oh,
Great run. Holy cow.
I saw a tweet today. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but I saw a tweet today about Alexia Putellas coming to the Liga MX, and it was like a flashback tweet and a picture, and it had us and Toluca on it. And I can see why Toluca is attracting players.
Yeah.
Very good ball.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure.
yeah, they've done a really good job of scouting players and bringing in the right talent. I think we've kind of handcuffed ourselves by being too tied down to the marketing agency that we use. It kind of sometimes that can hurt you.
Shoot. What are
Neither.
we doing?
You had Watson, man.
Golly.
These rush shots, bro.
Shoot the ball.
They got Blackwood playing left back. I remember Blackwood playing forward when she came in the league.
Bro. It's crazy.
I think it's been a little bit out of need too to try to keep Themby in check, bro. She's the only
Yeah.
Makes
one that can
sense.
keep up with her speed
Yeah,
wise.
That's what my uncle
she's been
said.
really good tonight. I'm not gonna lie. In case you're wondering, the Pachuca game is still 1-0 for them.
Oh,
Oh, and that's a road
it looked like
game for
8.
them.
Yeah, bro.
That's a great result.
Nombre, qué golazo de Ner, bro.
I missed it, bro. I
Crazy.
was watching the Femenil game.
Oh, you gotta watch it whenever you get a chance, bro. Golazo.
I know that you guys
Golazo.
covered most of the the game already with Chivas and Nashville and stuff. Do we feel like it's gonna hurt us that Brunetta missed like 2 sitters?
I mean, maybe if Chivas was at full strength, yeah. I don't know. We haven't really talked about the Chivas game. I guess this is kind of a nice segue
Yeah,
to it.
we have not.
Yeah.
It's been all Nashville.
3-1 win. It could have been 4 or 5, to be honest. It should have been whatever number you want to put for us to nil, because as Tyler said it perfectly, I don't know how that goal that they got stayed allowed in any way, shape, or form, but it is what it is. I just enjoyed how we responded. Like, even though we were talking about it in the chat last night, like that we were getting all emotional and spending a lot of energy, that wasn't happening when Pauno was here. And even at the end of the Siboldi era, like, we were not seeing that same sort of like garra and, passion from the players, like in a scenario like that. The
You know who
mentality has changed.
The difference maker is Angel Correa.
Yeah, bro. And honestly, let me give this guy a ton of credit, because I've criticized him a few times over the last year or so, especially with his role as a captain. But Fernando Gorriarán has been unbelievable this season. Like, his leadership has leveled up big time, and I got to give him props.
How much do you think fatigue's gonna take into effect, bro? I feel like we ran a lot
Bro, we
more than
went
we
through it
wanted.
last night, Lou. The last 20 minutes was tough. They didn't have no more legs.
Linus was toast.
Cooked.
There was a play where he just totally gave up, like 10 minutes left before the
Yeah.
game ended on the right side, and I was like,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah, that dude was the shot.
Yeah, I think
I
it plays
worry a little bit. That's why
Me
I'm not
too.
like super confident on this Nashville game, bro, because they rested 6 of their players, and now we got to face them play an amazing game on really tired legs. It's not going to be easy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I asked about the 2 goals that Brunetta missed that were sitters, because I would have felt so much better knowing that we were up either 4-1, 5-1 going into that Chivas game. 2 goals, even though you have the upper advantage, and like still think that we still have a very good shot of making the semis. This Conca, especially with the type of bench that we have, it doesn't make me feel like the best. I still feel a little tense the way that we might approach the game on Tuesday. You can count literally 2 players off the bench that are probably going to play for you. I'm glad Joaquim is now training, because I hope that he starts on Tuesday. That's my biggest hope, that he does.
I have read that he's probably out. And
He was
that he's
training today.
But the report that I saw is saying, I can't remember who it's from. I need to go back and look at it. But
He's 25 years old, bro. You better not punk out.
Bro, I know. I don't disagree with you, big dog, but I'm just saying it doesn't sound like he will start. And Ociel is definitely out, and I know that he is out at least until the second leg of the Chivas series.
My man puts together 3 games and then drops out. He pieces out for like another 6.
Wakanda.
It's been his whole career for Ozzy, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
hopefully we need Joaquin big time.
Do you? I mean, I know you guys talked a little bit about the Nashville game. Do we make a rotation? You got that in mind, Lou? We're gonna rotate some players.
No, I think we play. We obviously add Garza in, but I think it's gonna be pretty much the same lineup that we played up that we started with against Chivas. Yeah, I think that's what he's gonna roll the dice with. And honestly, he doesn't have too many options, bro. You got Chicha
No,
off the bench,
Vigon,
bro.
Gignac.
Vigon, look, man. That what we gotta understand as fans is Vigon will give you one game like that a
Yeah,
season,
and yeah,
right? And then that's it, bro. I mean, the next one could be just him running
awful.
around doing nothing.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's
So
what
it's like
this last game
we
against
don't.
Chivas what it was.
yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fine with it because we need to rest, give some of our guys a little bit of rest, but against in an elimination type of game, win or go home, I'm not rolling the dice with me going.
yeah, yeah. I think Gori slots back to his usual midfield position. Although, man, I thought I thought when he switched to right back last night that things
The team
really
look
opened
good.
up. Yeah, man, maybe that's the key, bro. It's just him kind of camping out and then bringing that energy from that side, playing a little bit deeper. I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's a very small sample size, like a game and a half, but man, I mean, we looked good from the moment the second half started because when Paco came off and Garza switches over to the left, Gori drops to the right, like just kind of elevated our attack, especially on the counters.
I'm telling you, Gorri is the new Jesus Dueñas.
Yeah, bro.
The new Jesus
He, he,
Dueñas,
he's
man.
he, he's trying to extend that contract, Lou. It's contract
Yeah,
year.
Facts. Facts. 8 minutes stoppage time for the girls to get 2 goals.
Um, man, I really hope that, like you mentioned, I hope the legs don't come into play. Um, I don't know how much rotation you can probably do. I think no matter what, like I'm confident in like Correa playing all minutes just due to the fact that he's top notch player. Um, I like the sub off the bench with Aguirre, even though I didn't like the tactical change. I was okay with him coming off the bench so he can start Tuesday, especially when you had the lead. I felt like that kind of pressed our momentum off due to just rotating a non-forward player up top like Correa or Bruneta having that shift. But I just think that that can be a big factor, and whatever you can get out of like even a guy like Marcelo, who I saw in a tweet today, is like people are so proud. I think the tweet went something along the lines like it's so awesome to see someone from La Indepe, who comes from nothing, have a better success rate than someone who spent their time in the academy being a rich boy at Arsenal. And but it's still worrisome, right? Because like even though Chicha can still do his little thing for 15, 20 minutes, I think that you want to take advantage of some Marcelo minutes just due to the fact that we've been playing so many games, man, so many games, and I feel like this is the weakest bench that we've had. Man, Lou, I'm trying to think like after we won the championship in 2011, that year with Eno Cunha and like
yeah.
maybe even leading to
Hercules
2013.
Gomez gets
Yeah,
that
like it
same
was
little.
rough.
Yeah. Lucas
It was,
Lobo's old
yeah.
and beat up.
Cooked.
I can't think of any other bench like that in a while.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't either.
it's slim pickings off the bench, bro. I mean, and we can't afford any injuries because the league is not going to do us any favors. They already showed their card again this off season with that play last night. Not even going to VAR for review.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
are not going to be favoring us at all. So we're going to have to earn it.
yep.
Which is
Big
fine.
time.
Yeah, that's fine because then we know that hey, we did it on our own, no help.
Facts. That Guerrero was fine last night again.
Yeah,
When he
I
came
like
on,
him. I've said it last Sunday. I like him as a player.
And his confidence is growing with each game.
big time.
Uh, what I like about the kid a lot, bro, is that he's willing to play out. He's willing to dribble out. We
Hmm.
we don't have a lot of players that are that clean on the dribble, and he does it. So that looks promising to me
Big time.
at that slot specifically. And then
And
he's got a long stride, so he covers ground when he dribbles out. What's the call with the ref?
I don't
Looking at a
know.
handball.
Oh no. Again, bruh?
But not in our favor, bro.
Yeah,
It's
it's for them.
on, yeah, for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Les
Lou,
is asking for it.
Lou, I'm gonna pose you a tough question like I posed it to my uncle when I was at my parents earlier. Is it time to let Greta go as well? Take advantage of the name and get some money out of it.
I wouldn't, bro. Not right now with as slim as we've been, and we've been awful, bro, with the recruiting. I mean, we Marisa was supposed to be a big deal, bro, and she's been a bust. I mean, she came in as a player that could pass out the back and de- do shutdown defending. She has not been that. She looks slow at times, and we lost Farmer, which was a big. I mean, at
Big
the
deal.
time, I didn't think it was a big deal. I was like, "Oh, we got the position covered with Marisa," but now it's looking like it's a big absence.
Yeah.
So now your most reliable center back is Greta because under Pedro Losa, he's been unwilling to give Natalia Calling a sniff at that spot. Not sure why. She's played better than Marisa. So I mean, it's the thing is, if you were to let her go, make that buck, do you trust our scouting department to nail it, to get it right, or are they just going to go out and get whatever the agency says we should get? That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's
we're limited. We're definitely limited due to the partnership there. I feel like that was a very good gamble at the time. We were probably thinking we're ahead of the game, getting an agency under our belt, and probably worked earlier on. You know, you got Mari Carmen out of it, you got Anika,
fish. Was
Maria,
fish part of that
Mia
deal?
Official. Yeah, Mia Official. ¿Quién más? Bianca Sierra, Mayor, all these girls are under. I mean, third of our squad is probably under there. And so,
Yeah.
but I think that now it's like, I'm just thinking of like what Ferral is, right? Like she's on a loan and like probably for a good reason. Would honestly would not be opposed to her coming back. But I feel like the team just needs a big restructure. And we've been covering it, like you said, when I first asked you this, the inefficiencies have been covered due to, the championship with Mila, the championship with Pedro Losa. It wasn't our best shape in terms of soccer. Even I think going back to the Carolina Moscato days, even before the championship that she won, it's been a long time since we dominated completely as a team. And we have great players. Some of these players are still like top notch in the league, but I think that the league's obviously caught up. We've been saying it for a long time. I mean, Toluca is literally showing you right now through some of these European players, just great overall skill. And ultimately, I think that this is just a reality check for us. What's our next move? Are we going to sit stale and see what the rest of the league's going to do, or are we going to like invest and move some players around and part ways with some of these players that have been here for quite a bit, like just Mayor having the ball right now as a defensive midfield. Like, how much are we going to stretch her out now, right? Like, somebody will pay for her. A team like Cruz Azul, or a team like a Pachuca, who sits on the outside in, who might give them a chance to like fill up the roster. But if we do consider ourselves the best team of this league, then we got to have, if not the best player at each position, um, but the second best player, if not.
You gotta use what the neighbors are going through as a cautionary tale, because a lot of times as fans, we can say, hey man, we're lacking personnel. We need big names. We need big time players, and you go out and spend. But if your coaching's not there, you're
Yeah.
never going to get anywhere. And I think we've had a coaching problem for a long time now, many years. We haven't been able to land on a coach that can give us our identity. And I'm looking at this team, bro, and I'm just seeing lack of work. Um, the way we move on the pitch, our shape at times, our passing efficiency, everything's poor. And it's poor because we're not practicing correctly. Everything just boils down to what do you practice? And I could just tell, like, tactically, our players are not understanding the game. They're not reading the game well. Situations that happen, poor decisions are made. All of that just comes down to coaching. And you can have the best talent on the pitch, but if you don't have a coach that can guide your team, you're not going to get anywhere. And so I think, to me, is like, before we can even start to talk about personnel, we have to start with the most important, which is the coaching staff.
Yeah.
You gotta wipe the slate clean. Um, and we've been very hesitant. I don't know why we continue to look at the Spaniards when there's plenty of good coaches in other areas, bro. And I think that's been the biggest problem. I mean, you can't look at this Toluca squad and say, oh man, they've got better players. I mean, if you go line
Look
by
at that
line,
coach.
they have very good players. I'm not saying they're not. I mean, 25, 99, 17, they're amazing players. But if you go player by player, we have the better squad.
Coaching.
And yet
For
and
sure.
yet we got blown out, bro. We got killed. And so that's coaching. And to me, what Pedro Losa has done has just been one giant inconsistent mess.
It
And
has gone
honestly,
fine.
last year I would have let him go even with the championship.
Yeah,
It
Same thing
embarrassing
with
at
Mila,
times.
right? After she won it
Yeah,
too. Like,
yeah,
this is the exact same
yeah.
situation.
And it goes back to what you were saying, Arnoldo. A lot of times you win, and it just sort of covers up the mess that's underneath. And I think this, moments like this, like when we got killed in the Rayadas semifinal, and we got embarrassed. You know, that sort of kind of opened up our eyes, and now this is sort of an eye opener too. Um, and you can tell a lot by a team the way they play in the regular season against the weaker opponents, and
yeah.
frankly, this year we've just been really
We were
poor.
awful. We were awful.
Yeah,
Had some really like that Mazatlan game away. One of the most inexplicable results I think of the team's history. Like, how the heck did we let them almost win that game? Even though we got a draw, we looked awful.
Dude, I'm just looking at the camera angles on some of these players. Like some of these players are unknown players on these Toluca team that were on half of their squad on the starting pitch today. But good for them. Good for them because, like I said, I think the shift in power has to be acknowledged. I think that the teams are getting better. Coaching is getting better. Toluca through the men's side, winning. That's just uh a sign in your face. It's not by coincidence, right? Like there's some planning that's going on behind the doors. And ultimately, the women's side benefits in this case. The men's side is on a back-to-back championship, still fighting for a possible CONCACAF and possible final through Liguilla, just like we are. So good things are happening. So good for them. Players that been probably in the league for a little while and are finally getting rewarded for their efforts. And big win against a team like Tigres tonight, Tigres Femenil. So just want to acknowledge that.
Um, couple questions. How quickly do we fire Losa? One and two.
before he even gets to the locker room.
Great
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
Yeah,
You just stop him before he gets to the locker room. You're like, hey, bro, we're done here.
yeah.
Well, if we have a new president in place, so I would say Monday, as in noon o'clock, is probably appropriate tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Threeger, about time you showed up, fool. Marty Kahneman should not have chosen him.
They better not do how they handled the Milagros Martinez situation where they let her go through the off season, and then right as the season's about to start, then they go, "Oh, we're naming a new coach."
Yeah.
They took forever. It messed up our off season. We need to have a coach right there before the girls come back from vacation, right there ready to go, so we can get off to a good off season and maybe give this team an identity and shape before the start of the next one.
Well, it'll be tough for the girls to play the next season, and I
How
imagine
much?
much more without Anika Rodriguez with a torn meniscus that we just
How,
learned about a few hours ago.
how much? How much are we locked in for Jenny Hermoso?
My understanding is possibly there's a move to Atletico Madrid Femenil, and I think we need to part ways with her.
I agree.
Yeah, I
It's
just
time.
think that I think that regardless of who she has been and what she has done for us, and glad that she was able to win a championship with us. Um, I think her style just doesn't fit anymore in what we're trying to do. Even seeing a team like Toluca today, and I can't say her name, Lesamalier. I think it's how you say it, or maybe how you say it. Um, but I think the game of like a player sitting on the ball and like stepping on it, at least on the women's side, it's got to be more fast paced. And I think that she has shown you that she can't do that, and that's okay. Like she thrived on the style of play that was developed, right? Like especially like being from Spain, and have been at the peak of her career when Spain was just a fantastic national team, in terms of like stepping on the ball, the tiki taka, and possession and whatnot. Like it's all exemplified through her game. Though I think that nowadays, especially the way that the league is coming to play about now, it's like you don't require a player like that. You require a player that that is able to be a box to box at times, be quick on the ball, be able. Even though she's great, I mean, she has the best vision, she has the best passing of the league. I can't deny that, but I just think that she came at a later part of her career with us, and at times she seemed that even though that she scored goals and she still made a presence, like she's ultimately very talented. I think that it's just time to move on, and like I said, move on to a restructure and see what type of player can bring you that energy, that momentum, and that just quickness of like playing a more up tempo game than what we've seen the last 2.5 years from her.
And just to add to that point, Arnoldo, in general, the trend of this league has become to be a more pacey type of game, more back and forth, more transitions, more open space. And so you need the speed, you need the pace of that midfielders that can, like you said, go box to box quickly. And that's part of the reason why um, Marisa hasn't been that successful. The way the game's played in Brazil is different than the way it's played here. You know, you mentioned the tiki taka in Brazil. They like to move the ball around like that, and so it works, right? It's just a different style. I'm not saying it's better here than there. It's just a different style, and you have to be able to scout players that fit the league, that fit your team. And I think part of that rebuilding, restructuring phase that we need to do is acquiring players that fit that style. Another one that you can mention that's part of that Marisa Jenny Hermoso group is the French player that Pedro Losa requested. But he said, I mean, not fast enough for this league. She has skill. She's very talented, great shot, but not pacey enough to be able to cover ground to defend against the fullbacks, and that's been another bust for us. And so that goes on our scouting department. That's just poor scouting, not understanding what type of league this is turning into.
I don't think we have any scouting, Lou. Let's go ahead and bluntly say it. There's no scouting from our squad. We had Hugo Ayala as our sporting director over the past couple of seasons. As great of a legend he has been, he had no experience with the women's side. Um, Prior to
And
that,
now,
I mean, who was it? Antonio Sancho was holding on to the
yeah,
reins.
yeah,
So they're really For as much say that the teams are investing, I think we got ahead through our financial aspect, but ultimately we put together a great team over the years with financial reasoning. I think that people were in place that made some decisions, and the team played out due to great talent. But now you need someone that actually understands the league, understands the players, understands the game overall as a growing game over the last 10 to 15 years, so you can move forward with the growth of the league. I think that Tigres is still ways ahead due to the financial aspect and what it can do just due to the nature of the history of winning championships and whatnot. But there's so much to grow from here.
Yeah.
Well said. And hopefully over the next few days there will be some action made. Although it is interesting with how early we've gone out, and also just the transition of club leadership, like how all this will play out. But there'll be a long time between now and the next game for the girls, and hopefully, even though it sucks getting out now, like hopefully they'll come back well rested and recharged for the next season. There should be no excuses at this point for next season to like deal with fatigue issues or anything like that when they're going to have a pretty long break. Gorginali, a big miss this series. Like, gosh, if we would have had her, just her presence and the way that she opens things up in the final third, especially for Diana, sorely missed in this series. But I think the series changed when Hermoso missed that penalty.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just it just felt
Yeah.
like it was over then. Like she shouldn't have even taken it. Like Diana should have taken the penalty. Like, I mean, she's the highest uh, goal scorer in the league, not just for the team. Um, and it's a shame that she did not take that penalty when clearly, like she did well with her penalty tonight. So, oh yeah, Conca for the girls next year as well. Which that'll be nice to be back in that. But if you don't bring the right reinforcements and don't have the right coaching, then what is it all
And I
for in the end?
I think as far as like what I mentioned with the league transitioning into a more physical, pacey, back and forth transitional game, I think it helps us in competitions like CONCACAF because I think we're able to better match their physicality and pace. So it's good for us, but we need to make sure we adapt our team to those circumstances and that we have the coaching that can do it. One
Yep.
thing about Pedro Losa that really annoyed me was his timidness at times and how like what he did in that final last season against America at El Azteca to play with five at the back. It's just a cowardly behavior, bro. You can't be a coward when you coaching the biggest team in Mexico. And I think he never really understood that. He lacked the humility to be able to really assess what had gone down. I think he excused it by saying, "Oh, it really wasn't five at the back." You know, just behavior like that doesn't help out, right? You have to be able to make a true assessment of what went down to be able to correct. And I think he lacked the humility to do it, and I think he paid the price this season. Um, Sort of. That's why I said you got to sometimes look at the neighbors for cautionary tales, because that's kind of sort of what happened with them. An arrogant coach, right? That thought he was better than the fans, better than the club, and never really made any adjustments, and he ended up losing the squad. And I think ultimately that's what happened with us here. I don't know if we ever had true buy-in from our players.
Yep. And you could just tell body language just wasn't all the way there, especially in recent times. Just felt like there was more just mounting frustration with every game as we got towards the end of the season. Obviously, that Clásico felt like a turning point in the moment, but clearly that was just a one-off more than anything else, which is disappointing because it felt like, okay, you get that game, you get that result at the end of the season, it kind of lifts you off towards a great run, and unfortunately, that run is over tonight. So,
Sometimes rivalry games just kind of give you that shot in the arm, like let's get up for this one because it's a rivalry game. because that was the one pattern and the one thing that we were good under Pedro Losa was these games against Rayadas, but the rest of the time we struggled when we shouldn't have been struggling at times.
Game over in Toluca, by the way. Pachuca's won 1-0. So
Massive result, bro, because now they go back home.
man, so are we the only team that won by more than 2 goals?
Yeah, because Pumas blew it. They had a 3-1 lead, and then they blew it. They ended up tying that game 3-3.
Yep, and then Cruz Azul only had the last minute goal last night. That only put
Yep.
them up 1 on their series. So
They do go back home though, so
yeah,
that is an edge going back home, and then also they own the tiebreaker.
yeah, for sure. So they've got the advantage, and we'll obviously talk about that. You know, at a future time. I'm depressed, to be honest, about how the situation with the girls has turned out. Really depressed about Anika, because she's out. I would have to imagine at least 6 to 8 months. Meniscus
Yeah, we're
tears are no
basically
joke.
going to lose her for next season.
Yeah, I'd be stunned if she's back before Liguilla of next year. She's a hard worker. I know she could recover well, but man, it's tough.
Which leads to the next question: is who's going to play in her slot? Well, there's not a lot of options
No, there's not.
off the bench, and we know that Jimena Lopez is not necessarily the answer, and Sabrina Enciso is a very modest player.
Yeah.
Doesn't bring the defensive fortitude that Anika gives you. So I don't know if they go out and get players for that spot, or if they roll the dice with Enciso there.
Would you bring Ferral back next season?
No, bro. I think that ship sailed. I think if anything, we should have kept her for this season, and then if you needed to loan her off, I think she's going back to what we were saying is the league requires that we have faster players, and she's getting older now, and I think she just doesn't. She's not going to be able to get it done, I think, anymore as she ages. So I would not bring her back.
Okay. Bro, I would like to see. I know it didn't work sometimes, but I think I'd rather have, if we're gonna play Marisa going forward, I think I'd rather just her play left back instead of Jimena, and then have Natalia play next to Greta as the other center back on the right side. I think I'd rather have that, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know if that's worth even mentioning right now, but that to me feels like a better situation. But who knows?
Yeah, you got to find a way for Natalia Colin to play. I think that's the better pairing, probably Natalia Colin and Espinosa. I don't know at this point because Marisa did struggle a lot in that left fullback spot once again because of pace. So I don't know. I don't know if perhaps maybe like a holding mid instead of Alexia there.
Yeah.
If you kind of convert her to a holding mid and you go to like a 4-1-4-1.
Yeah.
But it just seems like at this point, Marisa almost doesn't even fit into the equation anymore. I don't know if maybe that's a player that we look to offload this offseason and just cut our losses.
I think if you bring in another coach sooner than later, then you at least give it another chance. But
it's fair. It's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. Long way to go. I mean, none of this matters if they don't cut ties with Pedro before before the end of the week, honestly, or before the end of the day, ideally.
And I just hope the front office understands that there is good coaches outside of Spain. Like there is good coaches that understand the league, understand these players.
Yeah, where's this coach from Toluca from? Where's he from?
I don't know.
He looks European. I'll look it up.
But there's there's good coaches, and we need to just do a good, thorough search to find one that's the right fit for this squad. I still think we have a ton of talent on the squad. Themby is amazing. Ordonez has been awesome. Maria Sanchez still very good at her position. Hopefully we keep Emma Watson. I don't know if we can. I don't know what the loan arrangement was there, but even Mayor is still very functional. So there's still pieces there. You got a young Mia Villalpando who's only going to get better as she gets older.
Threeger helping me out. He's
I
Fred.
still trust Greta. So I think there's a really good base. You don't have to go out and get crazy and offload the entire squad. You have a good base of players, and then you just need to add the right pieces.
Yeah, I would say we need to address the goalie situation. We still need a true six. We're dying for a true six still, because obviously Delgado, as you mentioned, is not the answer to that. And then maybe a little bit more depth here and there. So
Yeah, fullbacks. I think fullbacks is one because I mean the way it's shaping out right now. Let's say Mia Villalpando goes down and Ciso goes down. Now you're really
yeah,
struggling. And I think we've seen enough out of Jimena Lopez to know that she's not the answer.
dude, Manet having playing time in the middle of the season and then her just not appearing like the rest of the way was also very odd to me because she
Yeah,
looked good in the minutes that she played.
Deiri Ramirez should be getting back. She's one of our young
Oh yeah, cannot
promises,
wait for her to get back.
so that'll be another option there.
Yeah,
Corginali, obviously, another one that's been very productive for us.
yeah, yeah. That's that's a lot to consider with this team, and we'll see how our leadership handles everything and what happens going forward. But again, the coaching change needs to happen stat. So we'll see how long that takes, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. We appreciate the title, Mr. Losa, but it's time. It's time for you to. It's how I feel about Arne Slot. We appreciate your title winning contributions, but vámonos.
Keep in mind, everybody else has done it.
Yep,
So he hasn't done anything that no other coach has done, right? I mean, Milagros Martinez won, Moscato won, Medina won.
yep.
So even Ramon Villaceballos, the infamous coach, won. So
Yeah, not saying much in the grand scheme. Um, real quick, let's go back to Chivas, um, from last night. I think we'll be done. Player that impressed you the most, especially after we gave up the goal. Um, who was the standout? I think there's a few candidates, obviously with the goal contributions, but there's a lot of
I
good leadership shown in the squad after we gave up the first goal.
I think you nailed it with Gorri. I think he had a really phenomenal game outside of the mental breakdowns he was having at times where he's really upset at the at the ref. But I guess since you already shouted Gorri, I'm gonna go with Brunetta. I thought he put together a really good game. Uh, one assist, one goal. I
Yep.
think he's finding his rhythm. I think he's getting his confidence back. I think that's been his biggest issue this season is that at times his confidence just drops for no reason and he beats himself up when he can't score and that sort of thing. But I think he's found his confidence again and he's playing well. So I'm gonna shout him out. But I think we had really solid game from everybody. Um, I didn't like the intensity from the squad at the beginning, but I think that referee decision ended up playing in our favor because it kind of lit a fire under us. And from there on, we were just really motivated to go out and get the tie. And then after we got the tie, we just kept pushing. So I agree with you guys. I think it was a game where we could have won 4-1. I think,
Yeah.
and pretty would have been pretty close to just sealing the series already. But even
Yeah.
with this result, I think we're still in the driver's seat as long as we're smart in Guadalajara. We play our game. don't fall into their game plan and not concede early. I think that's the key. Don't concede early. Make them work for it, and I think we can control that match.
Absolutely. It'd be great. It's not gonna happen, but it'd be great if we won like 4-0 on
Yeah.
on Tuesday, so that we could just rotate guys at halftime. That'd be awesome.
That's not in our DNA, Dennis.
No, it's like the opposite of our DNA, the anti-DNA. Hey, it was great to see Loroña back last night too. By the way, back and made an appearance. Farfan is also healthy. He's not on the injury report anymore. He didn't make the squad last night, but that's another future option to consider going forward, especially with all the games coming up. Paco Reyes has been a great soldier, but to have more depth there at the back, can't say enough about it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's it. Let's land the plane here, and call it a night. 114 people viewing the stream. Very nice. That's
Wow.
way better.
Look at us. Let me drink the
Bro.
water.
Hey, that's better than last episode when we were like without anybody in here for the first like 5 minutes.
It was just you and me, bro.
Yeah, bro. Just
Writing
hanging out.
history. Just
Basically.
you and me writing history every day, bro.
I'm ready for Tuesday too, Threeger. Really looking forward to it. I almost pulled the trigger on flying out there. I'm not gonna lie, because there's a plane with Viva Aerobus that in theory could get me there on Tuesday, but the turnaround's too tight. Like I'd get there with just like not enough time to like fully feel comfortable about getting there on time for the game, with all the traffic and stuff, and then I don't know, like I have to work Wednesday night, so unless y'all want to crowdfund, y'all out here talking about we need to raise funds so that I can go to more games. Well, if y'all started GoFundMe and raise $500 in the next 12 hours, then maybe I'll book a flight tomorrow for Tuesday, and I'll figure it out. So
We're gonna need more time next time, big dog. We're gonna need a week's time, so we
yeah,
rally the troops.
I'm hoping. Obviously, I would love for the Conca final to be at home if we get there. Caveat: if we get there. Logistically, though, the only way that I can make that final if it's in LA. So quietly kind of hoping for that. Because I have to come back early Sunday. So I don't know. We'll see. That's a future thing. We just have to win on Tuesday, and Tuesday is when we play again in the second leg. It is a 8:30 Central Time kickoff. A little bit of a later start. Well, I guess technically not later than last week because last week's game also started at 8:30 by default. FS1 and BigTVNSC, and then Saturday is the return leg of the Chivas series. And it'll be on Telemundo like it was this past weekend. I believe we'll be back probably Thursday. If I had to guess, I'll talk to the crew, but looks like we'll be back Thursday, unless we want to do like a post game super late Tuesday. We'll see. We'll see how we feel. So we may be back Tuesday. We may be back Thursday. We'll keep you guys updated. Please follow us on Twitter, and we'll spread the word once we know our plan for our next recording. If you don't know where to follow us, you should look at the screen, look at the show notes, look at the episode description. As I mentioned earlier, please check out Tyler and BigTVNSC. It's also in the description and show notes and all that good stuff. Yeah, follow our personal accounts, like my personal and Lou's, and our friends Double A Nation and Tigres Takes and AJ and everybody who contributes to the show. We love hearing from you guys. We love interacting with y'all on social media. So follow us and connect with us if you want to be a part of the show. As always, let us know. We'd love to have you, and looking forward to hopefully another great week for our Tigres. Just the men's side now, though. Fortunately, with the Femenil no longer a part of things. But as I mentioned, we'll be back at some point later this week, either Tuesday or Thursday. Keep track with us on Twitter, and we'll let you guys know. But for Tyler, for Arnoldo, for Lou, and for me, Dennis, this has been the Lou Times Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support. We will talk to you guys later on this week. Arriba la U. Peace.
Peace.